Out at, at the concert, there's people smoking J's and whatnot, and they were hungry, munchies. You know how it is, right? They got the munchies, and Jesus said, "Well, we gotta feed these people, dude. We gotta feed them." And they said, "Okay, whatever, dude." And some guy had like a can of tuna, and this other guy had a half a loaf of bread, and he said, "We can make some tuna sandwiches." And so they made some tuna sandwiches, and there was like 5,000 people. And it was like, dude, half a loaf of bread, that ain't gonna cover no 5,000 people, man. And Jesus is like, hey, trust, dude, trust me, Jesus. And he did it.
Oh, wow.
5,000 people, half a loaf of bread, one can of tuna. I'm not lying about this stuff. It's right in the Bible. You can look it up. But then like the next day, they're at like another concert, because the Dead, they were on tour back then too. Maybe it was Fish. I don't know. Fish, Dead. Maybe it was Dave Matthews Band. Whatever. But they're on tour, and there's like 5,000 people, and they're out there, and Jesus is giving them the story. He's like, sinning's bad. Don't do it. And they're like, okay, cool, dude. But hungry. And he's like, hey, get the tuna out, dude. And they're like, yeah, you can't feed tuna. One can of tuna and half a loaf of bread. We can't feed all these people with that. And yesterday he did it. And the same guys that stood right there and watched him do it, they're the same ones saying, you can't feed them with half a loaf of bread and one can of tuna. That ain't gonna do it, man. I mean, what kind of trust is that? These are disciples, and they don't believe. But the Fish fans, they're all like, dude, whatever, man. Tuna sounds good to me. And he broke out the tuna and the half loaf of bread, and bam, 5,000 of them ate. But Jesus, he wouldn't be the one telling that story. He lets the disciples tell that story, not Jesus. Jesus is cool. Jesus just does his thing. He do what he do. You know what I'm saying? And then he moves. He's on. Boom. Like the blind dude. He's all, oh, my eyes, man. They're like watery and whatnot. And Jesus is like, hey, let me look at that. And whack, and right on there. Wow, oh, dude, I can see. Man, that's awesome. But Jesus doesn't walk around telling, yeah, you know what I can do? Hey, you got some blindness, I can work on it, man. Your warts, I can whack them out of there. Just like, whatever, man. That's not his thing. That's not Jesus' style. He's not all, I'm Jesus. Ooh, I can do it. Jesus is more, whatever. Dude, whatever. It's the disciples. They're the ones that wrote all the stuff in the books and whatnot. That's why they're named Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. It don't say Jesus, 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 and Jesus. It says Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
The end.